I will be putting footage from my old videos over this, so yeah, enjoy the show while you listen to me rant about how bad the Isle is while you watch the Isle content. I haven't been very active recently on my account because of school, and I've been working on art and haven't been playing a lot of games recently. But I've decided I want to talk about the problems with the Isle and why I will no longer be playing this game. That's another reason I haven't been playing the Isle, because it's gotten really stale and boring, and I just really don't like it. I'm talking about Legacy. Evrima's fine. It's just Dilo right now is crazy. Anyways, it says that I have 3 segments of information that I'd like to present. First, the gameplay loop in the player base, then the community servers and their staff teams. This will be focused on the servers I have experience with. So I am a veteran, I guess you could say, of noobs in the Dry Reef, which are both pretty garbage servers in hindsight. And my last thing I'll be talking about is modifications and why I really dislike them, because mods are one of the main reasons I've decided to quit the game. Most of the examples that I will present are linked between these, but I'll place them where I think they'd fit best. But before I explain these problems, let me explain what the Isle Legacy is for those who don't know. Most of you should, because it's probably why you clicked. Anyway, the Isle is an indie game created by the group Afterthought LLC. I really don't need to say LLC, but I'm going to anyways. It's a multiplayer survival game where you grow dinosaurs to nest, eat, and fight in a player-based determined ecosystem, which means that the player base is basically the confrontation you run into. So basically, if you have everyone playing Utahraptor, a Utahraptor is probably the only dinosaur you're going to run into. The servers are about 100 to 150 player limits, and the map is huge, but there are currently 2 branches of the game. I have been talking about Legacy, and we'll talk about Legacy, but the Isle of Evrima is a totally different can of worms that I don't want to get into. It's pretty fun, but it can get really annoying. Anyways, both of them have different mechanics because Evrima is newer and it has more updated stuff, while the Isle Legacy is older and doesn't have as many mechanics, but it has way more dinosaurs, so that's a plus. And it's a lot more simpler of a game. You'll probably get more understanding by when I go through this script. And yeah, we're gonna start with the gameplay loop in the player base on the Isle. Please don't make fun of me. I've played this game for way too long. Oh my god. In my 1,500 hours, 1,500 hours of playing the Isle, I have mainly played on 2 servers, which I mentioned earlier, Noobs and the Dry Reef. The Dry Reef I use as a little vacation, I guess you could say, to get away from Noobs, because Noobs is just I don't like Noobs at all. It was just the only server that I could play on, and it was really toxic and all that, but I'll get into that later. But given I have more time playing Noobs, I'll start with that. When I started playing the Isle, the toxicity was nowhere near as prevalent as it is now, and I genuinely enjoyed the game. However, in recent times, it feels like more of a chore trying to play the game than having actual fun. For context, before I start explaining more of the gameplay loop, I typically played by myself or with my friend, 5U2K. You might have seen in previous videos. With that out of the way, the typical gameplay loop for me consisted of logging in on my dinosaur, not being able to find a good fight, whether it be because the giant ass map not letting me find anyone, or the fact that every group was a mega pack, then get attacked by pre-mentioned mega pack, and then one of 2 things would happen. Either I win because I'm crazy at the game, but then get contested off the body and unable to fight because I'm injured from the last fight, or die to one of the group members that was rule breaking, which was very common for me, and it makes me really mad because you have to wait forever to get your dinosaur back from a rule break. And given my experience with the game, I very, very rarely died to an actual fair confrontation. Every time I died, it was typically to a rule break, and it made me mad because when you join a community server, you're assuming everyone else will follow the rules. Most of the time I'd run into a rule break, I would have to make a ticket on it because my dinosaur would die and I wouldn't be able to play it, or I could wait 2 hours to grow another dinosaur. I played Carnotaurus and it took about 2 hours to grow, and it was a very boring growth cycle. This is my first complaint with the gameplay loop, the constant need to make tickets. A ticket is basically just a report that would be managed in the server's Discord to get either your dinosaur back from a rule break or to contest a rule break that was putting a ticket on you. Basically, like, if you rule break, someone puts a ticket on you, you contest that rule break with another ticket. I barely ever did this, and I don't know anyone actually did do this. I'm pretty sure they just accepted the rule break because they don't have their, like, recordings of the game named to what happened, and they delete after every 10, so, yeah. Anyways, I would typically always have to make a freaking ticket because there were so many rule breaks going on and it was so annoying. And originally it wasn't like this. I'd barely ever have to make tickets, but now it's ticket every time I would get on. And this is what I mean when the game is a chore, because you're not actually playing to enjoy. And if you are playing to enjoy, you're going to be mistaken because you're not going to have fun when you die to a giant group of mix-packing dinosaurs that rule break. And it's really just agitating, and it takes the fun out of the game. Anyways, tickets also aren't instant, as I think I've mentioned earlier. My longest ticket took around like 3 days to get a response, which is wild for a dinosaur game. And it's either 3 days to get a response or losing the motivation of growing your dinosaur again because you know you're gonna die to another rule break. This wasn't just a noobs thing. This isn't any server problem. I had this problem at Dry Reef. I couldn't tell you if it was more or less prevalent because they were newer players, but newer players didn't really fight that much because they're wussies and they don't want to lose their dinosaur. On the second part of gameplay loop problems, we have mega packs, which I mentioned earlier as killing me. A mega pack is basically an in-game group of dinosaurs that has more than 5 members and have like more than one species in it. Each mega pack would have at least one apex. An apex is basically just the giant dinosaurs like Rex, Giga, or Spino in the group. These dinosaurs were so overpowered, it'd typically be a death wish to take one on. As what I played, I was a Carnotaurus main. If you haven't seen by my channel yet, Carnotaurus is the best dinosaur. Actually, I don't know about that take. It wouldn't be very hard to avoid these groups, but other than the fact that they were everywhere, anywhere you go, you find a mega pack. If you find anyone, that is, because the map is so big, you can't find anyone. But when you do find them, it's a giant pack of Rexes and freaking Allosaurs, and that's annoying. Really annoying. They were kind of fun to fight though, but it eventually got very stale where I'd have to make a ticket almost every time I'd fight it to get my dinosaur back because they rule break killed me, because most groups are full of noobs that don't know the rules, and it's annoying. But when I did win, I would just get contested again, as I mentioned earlier, and I wouldn't have any food to eat. And then, like, if someone says like, oh, join a mega pack, but this doesn't help either because it just really makes the game more unfun than it already was. Most players you'd find in a mega pack like weren't very good. I also said that earlier. And there's like no coordination, and it leads to very sloppy fights if you do get the fight, because basically if you're a non-apex dinosaurs, you just kind of watch the apexes have a turn battle until one falls over, and then you either lose or you win. And if you lose, you don't get any food and your pack starves, and if you win, you get food, but it's not fun. So either way, joining a mega pack isn't fun. This is basically this is all of gameplay loop, and why the gameplay loop of this game is absolutely garbage. I'm sorry, I got kind of close to you guys. Anyways, I'm gonna shortly go over my stay at the dry reef. Most things are the same as noobs, but I was actually able to find fair fights and kill little kids who wanted to play as their favorite dinosaur in a dinosaur game. However, this server was marketed to new players and had way too many rules, and so it was easier to remember every verse in the Bible than the rules in the server, and all the players were bad at the game, and it made the game very stale and boring. Or since I liked fighting really big dinosaurs as a Carno, I'd have to heal up for like 20 minutes after I'd fight something before I could fight something else. And that also made the game very boring because I'd have a lot of spare time to do nothing. Anyways, that's all I have for gameplay loop evaluation. There isn't much to say on our next topic, but it's a hard hitter, and it's corrupt staff teams on the community servers. And I think this fits in perfectly right between the other two sections. So yeah, anyways, this topic is probably going to stay short because there's only so much you can say about these staff teams, but I'll do my best to give a good description of why I don't like them. Bias is the main problem here. In my tickets and interaction with the staff, I have seen so much bias, whether it be staff making rules to defend players they are friends with, or just going out their way to strike or ban someone they don't like. I have a video, I'll put in iCard, called Jakuki versus the People, which I will link in the description. And that goes into detail about a problem I had with one ticket, but to shorten that, I was a Utah Raptor that attacked a male Tyrannosaurus on a nest. There was an admin that was its child that slayed me for attacking the male Tyrannosaurus. The reason I'm making it clear that it was a male is because you can't attack a female dinosaur on a nest. And the server, it's a rule in the server, the dry reef. There's no evident rule I was breaking at the time. I was attacking the body parts that were out of the Rex that were outside of the nest, and I got insta-smited for doing so. The T-Rex was actually rule breaking me because it went to the water during the engagement, which is also a rule break on the server. And if I recall correctly, so is being a male laying on a nest. Anyway, to sum it up, the admin outwardly defended the Rex it was grouped with that rule broke twice and slayed my dinosaur for trying to kill it. This dumbfounded me, so I quit the server, and I would return to playing on noobs before I would quit the Isle Legacy in about a month or two later. Going back, it might sound like I might be overreacting, but imagine you get on a game to play and have fun, and then you just get killed by an admin because they're like freaking, I don't know why they killed me. That didn't make any sense to me. It's just so dumb, and I didn't want to do like future events with that in the future, so I quit the dry reef for ever and ever. Amen. Now, this isn't all to say that there aren't any problems like this on noobs. I've been in multiple groups with admins that would like bend the rules for our group so we could get kills or something, but it was nowhere near as bad as that one experience in dry reef. About 3 weeks later after that dry reef thing, I got a message saying we were wrong, have your Utah Raptor back, as some sort of late apology, hoping it would change thoughts on the admins, but I don't know. Anyways, this is the end of the admin problems. Our last and final topic is modifications, or just mods for short. Unlike mods in Path of Titans, the effects of these mods were only for the people who have them installed. For example, if I had a mod installed that made a Utah Raptor look like a chicken, if I was the only person with this mod installed, I would be the only person to see that the Utah Raptor looked like a chicken. People without the mod installed would see the normal Utah Raptor as Utah Raptor. And Noobs was a server I spent most time on, as said earlier again. And nearing the end of my playtime on there, they allowed mods. On paper, they seem like a lighthearted thing that would be fun to have, but in reality, it led to what I call meta mods. Meta mods were mods that you have to have installed to function well in game. and to have the same senses as everyone else. There was one main meta mod that really changed the entire game. It was called Winter Map, and I didn't mention this earlier, but the owl has 2 gameplay times, day and night. Day was the average experience where you could see everything clearly, but at night you were stuck in a small bubble surrounding your character that would allow you to see in. And everything outside that bubble was completely dark. It was black. And this made gameplay a lot more frightening at night because you could only rely on your ears, which in the Isle with a lot of bugs isn't gonna go over very well. And well, I guess there was a function where you could sniff it at highlight water and you could kind of see silhouettes that were in front of you if there was water behind you, but that's not reliable. Anyways, later there was a counteraction to this with built into your PC. It's called Gamma, and if you turn that up all the way, you can see very well. And then there was a mod called well, you can see very well, it's just it made it easier to see in the nighttime. Anyways, later with the addition of the winter map and Gamma, the winter map covered the entire map with white, which was snow. If you had both of these, you could see just as well as you could at daytime, and that's meta because it's just crazy. It is nice to be able to see at nighttime, but it removes an entire portion of the game, which in my humble opinion, I'm not a fan of. There were also a bunch of other mods that people made that were basically just hacks. Some remove like the tree branches on trees, which like stopped people from seeing through them. So if you were hiding in there, you'd be seen. Also, people had like glow skins on, which would allow you to see people in trees also because they'd be glowing like a light bulb. And this is basically just hacking. And this would give a really unfair advantage over the people that can't access these mods. So I just don't really see the whole good with them. They're also really ugly, and they can change how the game looks. And I'm a person for style. This is also why I don't like mods in Path of Titans. And these mods, to me at least, corrupt the authenticity and style of the original game, and I'm really not a fan of that because I like enjoying the Isle as the Isle. That's actually the main reason I moved to the Dry Reef, was because I could get away from the mods, because the mods made the game look ugly and the Dry Reef didn't allow mods. And that's the end of my little portion on mods. So yeah, these are the reasons that I will no longer be playing the Owl Legacy. I just had to quit because of the memories I have of the game and a really good friend I made while playing it. I'll try to start uploading more regularly again with games like Primal Carnage and Beast of Bermuda. If you have had any similar problems to anything I've listed, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Share with anyone that might seek value in this. And you guys should go look at my Instagram, which I'll link in the comments, and it has my art on it, and you should follow me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe or I'll eat your cat.